timing objections are, now isn't the right time. Can I enroll later? This sounds okay, but maybe I'll join next year or at the end of the year or in a couple months, right? So when this happens, you might start thinking to yourself, I never picked the right time to promote my program. I wish I had a crystal ball and I wish it wasn't Mercury retrograde, right? Whatever. But you might be thinking it's never the right time, right? What am I doing wrong? Or you might just be thinking, I honestly just don't know what to say. What am I going to tell people? Or you might just think, okay, well, you got me there. I'm just going to let you go and not respond, right? This is not what we want to do. And then here's the other thing. Here's what the, bro marketer industry will tell you in order to overcome that, right? They're going to say, do things like do a deep discount of your program if someone, doesn't enroll right now. So just offer this discount. If people say, I'll join in next month or in a couple months, say that you'll give them $2,000 off if they join today, right? We don't discount. So that doesn't work for us. And then, or some people say, well, just don't let anyone enroll after 12 months if they don't join you now. Or like basically saying, if you don't join me today, I'm going to blacklist you and I'm literally going to block you from joining my program. You can't come back. You can't come back in a few months when it's the right time. And that also creates a lot of pressure. Or just saying like, oh, I only kind of this attitude of like, I only work with people who can make fast decisions. So if you're not a fast decision maker, then like you're not successful. And I only work with A player winner, whatever the whole like bro, language. I only work with A player winners who bet on themselves. So I'll never work with you. Like that is not the vibe. So in the empowering enrollment experience, we just want to get curious. We want to ask, why isn't now a good time? Let's get into the details. And then we're going to talk about internal motivations. So here's an example. Cami says, thanks for sharing that. Out of curiosity, why is September a better time? I'd love to know more about what you're working on between now and then. And this is super important, is understanding what's their plan between now and then. This is related to what I was saying earlier when I said oftentimes people will be like, well, I'm not going to join until September because for the next 3 months, I'm going to build a Pinterest presence. I'm going to start getting into Pinterest, and then I'm going to create a bunch of free content, and then I'm going to do this and that and the other thing. And then I think I'm going to make a LinkedIn profile. And I'm just like, none of that matters. That's not going to move the needle. And I'll be like, I'm glad you told me that that's the plan because I can save you like 6 months of headaches and heartaches you don't have to do any of those things and get to the end result that you're looking for faster. So let's not waste 6 months on Pinterest, right? Let's skip that and do things that are actually going to move the needle. So this is but it's also important to find out what's happening in someone's life. So are they going on parental leave? Are they enrolled in another program? That's why they want to join later. Are they maxed out with one-on-one clients and they don't feel like they have time to implement the program? These are the actual objections under the objections. So then we can address those. So if someone says, well, yeah, I'm enrolled in another program until September. We've got a response for that. And it's really good, right? Or, oh, I'm totally maxed out with time. Well, that's actually exactly why you need this program, because like I had someone yesterday who ended up enrolling who was like, I don't know, I'm so maxed out on all these sales calls all week. Like, how am I going to have the time to implement the program? It feels like a chicken or the egg thing. And we talked through it and they ultimately enrolled because that's exactly why you need this program, right? So timing objections are about something else that we need to uncover. And we also need to think about what happens if someone waits to enroll, right? Are they going to miss some kind of opportunity cost that's intrinsic and internal for them? Do they stay stuck? Are they going to earn less money? Are they going to, spend another year waiting before, till the right time to write their book or whatever it is that you help them do? Are they going to feel the same today, by the holidays as they do today? And they're going to be like, wow, I made no personal progress on my goals in the last 6 months. Like those are internal things that people care about.
Yeah, a big one I think of here is people being like, I need to wait and do another launch before I go Evergreen. And I think about, okay, if you were on Evergreen with your program that costs $5,000 and we were making like 5 Evergreen sales a month, how much is it costing you to not go Evergreen? Like, how expensive is that launch going to be that's happening in 3 months where you don't have an Evergreen funnel? And so you can start thinking about that for your own program. Like, what does it mean for people, either in terms of money or emotional outcomes or, stress or time spent or whatever it is? What does it mean for people to not take action? What do they what do they stand to gain by joining now, and what happens if they delay? And it's, often very, very real.
Yeah, it's just wasting time too. Like, it breaks my heart when I know that someone is going to be wasting their time spending 6 months on something that I just know 6 months later, they're going to come back and be like, darn it, I wish I had done this 6 months ago. And so that's where we'll go to bat for someone's highest good and be like, please don't spend 6 months wasting your time on that thing. You'll just be back at square one, because we've seen it. I wouldn't be saying that if I hadn't literally seen it hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times, because I've worked with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. Okay, so sparking internal urgency. I think we talked about this again, just talking about how your program can solve multiples. If they're like, I'm maxed out with time and I've got this thing coming up and there's this and there's that. It's like, oh, actually my program would help you with all of those things. Here's how, right? And why does this need to become their number one priority instead of setting up a Pinterest account, whatever the equivalent is of that, right? Where you probably have this in your industry. So here's one of the things that we do is we like to have a visual representation. This is from our client, Sarah Duty. It's such a great example where she just visually shows, and she helps UX designers build their portfolio to get a job, right? So it's not B2C, it's not business, it's people in careers, right? People investing in their careers. And so she's showing, well, if you do join 2 months from now instead of today, that's fine. But here's the timeline of what that's going to look like. And so here's a very real visual of like, if you get a raise in 2 months instead of 4 months, you're missing out on 2 months of that raise, right? So it's just a great little visual to reinforce what she's talking about. Okay. And this is also why it's so important for your program to be evergreen, so people can join year round. So that if you do get a timing, like that same DM that was in the previous presentation where someone was saying, I talked about getting consent to follow up with people. And someone had said to Cami, like, can you send me the link to join in 2 weeks? I will be ready to go. Imagine if we just said like, no, you can't, you know what I mean? Versus, okay, cool. You will have, we can set you up in 2 weeks. Let's talk then, we'll follow back up. And then they enrolled in 2 weeks, right? And I trust the client to make the best decision and be honest about that. And the other thing is that you can do, one of the things we talk about is, like I've said, creating some kind of gift or bonus or something like that. So the conversation might also be, hey, yeah, you can join in a few months, but if you join before the end of this week, we're actually giving everyone this bonus workshop that we're teaching this month only for existing clients. Or you're going to get access to this, template download, or we're hosting a special monthly planning session that only happens, this month. And if you want to join us for that, or that we only do like twice a year or something. So if you want to join us for that, you do want to join us this week. So there's little gifts, bonuses, incentives that we will have as well.